For these past few days of Wuthering Waves, I've been having a blast exploring these characters' kits and trying to figure out how they ultimately work within teams or just independently. I felt like similar to Zenless Zone Zero, a lot of players are not truly looking into what these characters can really do, which is kind of sad because Kuro has put a lot of work into making these units feel fleshed out. One of these units that have had me feeling this way is Sanhua. Sanhua is a 4-star DPS that everyone will be getting on the 5th day of you logging in. She overall is a great DPS, especially in the sub DPS role, but I believe everybody is sleeping on her and not seeing the true value she can have as that main DPS as well. I know. Bold take. I feel like just like how everyone has been hyping up Don Jin because of her unique health sacrifice mechanic to increase her damage, I believe Sanhua's kit and her unique mechanic places her in a similar conversation, especially with this new tech I discovered. Let's get into it. But before we do, be sure to enter into my Battle Pass giveaway. All you have to do is comment down below who is your favorite resonator in Wuthering Waves. It could be a 4-star or a 5-star. It doesn't matter to me, just comment down below and I'll be picking a winner very soon on the channel, so stay tuned to see who will win at a later date. To start, I need you guys to understand Sanhua's kit so you understand why this new tech changes everything for her. Sanhua is a glacial DPS that rewards players for having precision timing. With her Forte Circuit Clarity of Mind, she has a mechanic where if you hold basic attack at any point, you will see a cursor move back and forth on her Forte gauge. This is a minigame that rewards players for releasing the attack at the perfect time in the frostbite area to trigger her heavy attack Detonate that deals glacial damage considered as heavy attack damage. Detonate is a unique heavy attack animation specifically for Sanhua, and it's an attack that grants her more damage in comparison to her normal heavy attack. Now the cool thing about her kit is that the goal is to trigger Detonate as often as possible, and she does this by gaining clarity stacks. These stacks make the frostbite area in the Forte gauge bigger with each stack. The stacks up to 2 times and makes it a lot easier for Sanhua to trigger detonations, which ultimately jumps up her damage output. So you're probably wondering, how do we stack up clarity? Clarity stacks are given in multiple ways in Sanhua's kit. She gains 1 stack for her basic attack 5, 1 stack for her intro skill Freezing Thorns, 1 stack for her resonant skill Eternal Frost, and 2 stacks for her resonant liberation Glacial Gaze. All of these are great ways to give her the clarity stack that she needs, but when we take a closer look at this, we see that 3 out of the 4 ways she gets stacks are tied behind cooldowns, or they need to build some form of resource, which makes them not as reliable. This ultimately leaves us with her basic attack 5, which is the ender to her combo string. This is where I begin to discover the new tech I found with Sanhua. Generally, with her combo strings, the only way you can go into her basic attack 5 is by completing her full basic attack combo. This is our only way to get a stack for free, but when fighting enemies, especially in difficult content, we know that we aren't always going to be able to complete a full combo. So what do? What if I told you that Kuro not only rewards Sanhua for landing her detonation, but for also missing them? Let me explain. Like I said before, heavy attack detonation is triggered if you land the cursor on her Forte gauge in the frostbite area. But if you miss the area, her regular heavy attack is performed. Well, after Sanhua's regular heavy attack, she is able to go into her basic attack 4 and basic attack 5. This means that at any point of her combo, she can land basic attack 5 and gain stacks faster than she ever would if she completed her full combo. For example, we can do the following combos. As you can see right beside each other, both of these will grant you the 2 stacks, but you will see the more optimal route that I've recently performed is granting us 2 stacks faster than the normal combo you would do. This means that not only do we build stacks with Sanhua faster, we'll be able to easily trigger detonations on her a lot more consistently and a lot more often, potentially making her DPS a lot stronger than before or what most people expected out of her in a main DPS role. Not only that, but if we look further into her kit and look at her final inherent skill Avalanche for her Forte Circuit, it says that the damage dealt by Sanhua's Forte Circuit Ice Burst is increased by 20% for 8 seconds after casting a basic attack 5. So, because of the tech with her heavy attack, she will have access to her basic attack 5 a lot faster, which will trigger the inherent skill consistently and pretty often, which means higher DPS. Oh, and if you guys don't know what Ice Burst is, this is the mechanic tied to her Forte Circuit that deals glacial damage and resonant skill damage by detonating the ice she creates whenever she uses her intro skill, her resonant skill, and her resonance liberation. The song was just so fucking sick, bro. Now I know Sanhua is labeled as a sub DPS majority of the time, and her main damage rotation tends to not involve her using her basic attacks or being on the field long at all. But I believe with the concept of this new rotation, she has main DPS potential depending on the team you build around her. Sanhua being in the lead DPS role opens up a new team comp and synergies for her because of this heavy attack rotation. For example, she'll be able to benefit from characters like Mortify, who buffs heavy attack damage with his outro skill and provides extra DPS with his Resonance Liberation effect, Burn and Rhapsody, while also not requiring much on-field time at all. In return, Sanhua will be buffing his basic attack damage with her outro skill, which benefits Mortify because a lot of his damage and his damage rotation comes from him using basic attacks. She also has other units at her disposal like Verena and Baiji, who can also be on the team to be their support units. These units as well don't require much on-field time at all, and they provide healing for the overall team, so who doesn't like having a supporting team? You could even have a unit like Tao Chi who can provide some benefits with her outro skill that grants the next character 38% resonance skill damage, deepening for 14 seconds, which buffs Sanhua's ice burst damage tremendously. Most of these characters was already kind of working with Sanhua, but only in a sub DPS role. A lot of times it was mostly just the supports and Tao Chi that was working with her, but Mortify has never ever been listed with her being a part of their team because nobody is truly running Sanhua as a main DPS, which is why I think a lot of people are missing out on some of her key strengths. Just like I talked about in my previous video, we shouldn't be locking characters to specific roles just because this is what everybody thinks that they should play. That was during CBT 1, CBT 2, before anybody truly had time to sit down and explore the game. Of course, every character is going to have like pretty strong roles that they can play or ones that everyone will get comfortable and used to, but that doesn't mean that that's the only thing that their kits offer. And I think Sanhua is a great example that she can be much more than just a unit that you only have out on the field for only a few seconds at a time, when she could possibly be leading the damage potential on your team. Finally, we have all of Sanhua's resident chains or dupes on screen if you guys want to see all of these. Personally, I know majority of you are only going to have her C0 or possibly C1 at the moment, but if you could get her C6, this character automatically becomes a crazy unit. Currently for me, I got a copy of her before we got our final login, so she is C1 for me, and I think C1 is a really good spot to have her in until you get further dupes down the road. She is a part of the standard banner, and I believe she's going to stay there, so there is a high probability that we can get her to C6 or at least around like C3, C4 by the time we are a few months within to the game, which ultimately makes her a really strong unit, especially while we're still within more than likely year 1 of Wuthering Waves. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I want to discover more with characters and find the deeper aspects about them than more so what people are looking for. And that everybody's really looking at these characters face value and what the current roles that are being placed on them. But I want to see how much further we can take these characters and go beyond what we are confining into them. Now, just because I discovered this tech and I have like some team suggestions or teams that I'm looking into, doesn't mean that these are going to be perfect. I just kind of want to start our ultimate conversation or start sharing the things that I find to see what more can we dig up and explore with units, because we don't, I think tying characters into a cage and making them play a specific roles ultimately limits the freedom that these characters can have, especially if their kits says and offers other things outside of the things that we are using with them. And that's why I looked at Sanhua. Everybody was only using her skills or her abilities without even using any form of basic attack and heavy attack from her, but she has things within her kit that enhances those things, like her basic attack 5 and her heavy attack, but nobody was using it, and it just didn't make sense to not use it. But ultimately, I hope this video was helpful in some way and kind of sparked your interest. Remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and again, comment down below who is your favorite resonator currently within Wuthering Waves. I appreciate all you guys' support, and remember to believe in you that believes in yourself. I'll see you guys in the next one.